The glass door shattered inward with a deafening crash, shards exploding across the lobby like jagged confetti. Elena Vasquez stumbled backward, heart slamming against her ribs as the security guard's meaty hand clamped down on her arm. Out. Now. His voice was flat, mechanical. Behind him, the office lights flickered, harsh, accusing, as colleagues froze mid-keystroke, eyes wide, mouths half open in shock. No one moved to help. No one said a word. This wasn't how her first real job was supposed to end. 3 months earlier, Elena had walked through that same door with fire in her veins. 22 years old, community college diploma still smelling of fresh ink, she'd clawed her way into Crestview advertising on sheer grit. No connections. No fancy degree. Just a burning hunger to prove she belonged in this glittering city of startups and sky-high rents. She'd spent nights in her Oakland apartment crafting the perfect pitch. A viral TikTok campaign for Bike Buddy that could turn coders' epic fails into triumphs, exploding engagement overnight. She'd poured everything into it. Data polls, mock-ups, late-night edits on her cracked phone screen. And today it all came crashing down. Mr. Harlan Thorpe's office still reeked of his expensive cologne and stale ambition. He'd summoned her at 10:47 a.m. sharp. Elena had straightened her blazer, smoothed her dark hair, and stepped in expecting praise. Instead, Thorpe sat like a judge behind his oak desk, monitors glowing with merger documents she wasn't supposed to see. "Your proposal," he said without preamble, sliding her printed deck across the desk like contaminated evidence. Enthusiastic. But enthusiasm isn't strategy, Vasquez. And right now, strategy is what Apex demands. Apex Dynamics. The name hit like ice water. Whispers had circulated for weeks. Merger talks, streamlining, the quiet purge of anyone who didn't fit the new mold. Elena's mind raced. Her idea was scalable. She'd run the numbers. Projected 300% engagement lift, low-cost production. It wasn't a gimmick, it was a weapon. But sir, the metrics. He cut her off with a raised hand. The metrics don't matter when the entire team is being replaced. Apex is bringing their people. You're redundant. Redundant. The word landed like a slap. 3 months of 14-hour days, skipped meals, ignored family calls, all reduced to that single clinical term. Elena felt the room tilt. You can't just. I can. And I am. He pressed a button on his intercom. Security to my office. The door opened seconds later. The same burly guard who'd later drag her out now stood blocking the exit, arms crossed. Thorpe didn't even look up as he added, "Pack your things." Quietly. The walk back to her cubicle felt endless. Phones buzzed, keyboards clacked, but the air had thickened with unspoken pity. Elena's hands shook as she gathered her notebook, the one crammed with campaign sketches, competitor analyses, furious margin notes on what made companies succeed or fail. A single pink slip waited on her desk like a venomous snake, termination effective immediately. She stuffed everything into her satchel, the zipper catching on her trembling fingers. As she turned to leave, something slipped from the side pocket, a folded note she hadn't placed there. Her pulse spiked. She unfolded it under the desk's shadow. They're watching. Your ideas threaten them. Don't stop. No signature. Sharp black ink. Urgent scrawl. Elena's breath caught. Oh. She glanced around. Sarah from accounting averted her eyes too quickly. Mike in IT lingered by the printer, phone in hand. Paranoia surged, hot and electric. This wasn't random. This was targeted. The guard appeared. Time's up. He escorted her to the elevator like a criminal. The ride down was silent except for the soft ding of passing floors. In the lobby, Elena stepped into the fog-shrouded street, rain already spitting from a leaden sky. The high-rise towered behind her, windows reflecting nothing but gray. She walked. No destination. Just movement to outrun the humiliation burning in her chest. Rain soaked her blazer, plastered her hair to her face, but she barely felt it. Her mind replayed the morning in fragments. Thorpe's cold dismissal, the merger docs glimpsed on his screen, the anonymous note now heavy in her pocket. By the time she reached the bus stop on Market, her phone buzzed. An unknown number. She almost ignored it. Almost. The text was short. First fall is the hardest. But the web is wider than you think. Watch your back. Attached, a photo. Blurry but unmistakable. Thorpe shaking hands with a tall man in a dark suit outside the building. Timestamp yesterday. The day before her firing. Elena's fingers went numb. This wasn't coincidence. Someone had orchestrated her exit. Someone feared what she could build if given the chance. She boarded the bus, dripping water onto the floor, and sank into a seat at the back. The city blurred past, neon signs, homeless encampments, gleaming towers that mocked her failure. She pulled out her notebook, the pages already warping from rain. In bold letters at the top of a fresh page, firing one. Below it, lesson, enthusiasm isn't enough. But maybe it's the spark they fear. She stared at the words, the anonymous note clutched in her other hand. Questions swirled like the fog outside. Who sent the warning? What web? And why her? A nobody junior marketer with nothing but ideas and desperation. The bus lurched through traffic. Elena's jaw tightened. She'd been knocked down before, dead-end jobs, family struggles, the constant grind of proving herself in a city that chewed up dreamers. But this felt different. Personal. Dangerous. As the bus crossed the Bay Bridge toward Oakland, lightning cracked overhead, illuminating the water in stark white flashes. Elena pressed her forehead to the cold glass. The storm outside mirrored the one inside her. She wasn't broken. Not yet. She was ignited. Little did she know this single brutal fall was the first thread in a conspiracy that stretched from shadowy boardrooms to encrypted drives, from betrayed mentors to a hacker with a vendetta. 99 more firings awaited, each a betrayal, each a lesson, each pulling her closer to the empire she would build from the ruins. Revive Flow wasn't born in comfort. It was forged in fire. And the blaze had only just begun. Back in her tiny apartment that night, Abuela's arroz con pollo steaming on the stove, Elena sat at the kitchen table under a single bulb. Maria Vasquez watched her granddaughter with worried eyes. Mija, what happened? Elena unfolded the note, the photo, the pink slip. Words tumbled out, the firing, the merger, the warnings. Maria listened, stirring slowly. The world is full of wolves, she said finally. But wolves fear fire. Elena nodded, staring at the USB drive she'd yet to mention. The one Jax would later hand her at Pier 39, the one that would unlock the first real proof. But tonight, it was just her, the rain hammering the window and a resolve hardening like steel. She opened her laptop. Searched Apex Dynamics blacklist. Forum threads popped up. Anonymous posters warning of rigged hiring, stolen ideas, careers ended before they began. One post chilled her. If you're too innovative, you're gone. They don't compete. They eliminate. Elena's fingers hovered over the keys. Then she typed her own anonymous reply. They just fired me. What now? She hit send, heart racing. The response came within minutes, from Shadow Whisper. Meet me. Midnight. Pier 39. Come alone. Suspense coiled tight in her gut. A trap? A lifeline? She glanced at the clock. Hours to decide. But deep down she already knew. She would go. Because the first fall hadn't ended her. It had only shown her the battlefield. And Elena Vasquez was ready to fight. The bus jolted to a stop at Elena's Oakland corner, brakes squealing like a warning she couldn't ignore. Rain hammered the roof in relentless sheets, turning the street into a black mirror that reflected her pale, determined face. She stepped off, hood up, the anonymous note and blurry photo tucked deep in her pocket like contraband. The text from the unknown number still glowed on her phone screen. First fall is the hardest, but the web is wider than you think. Watch your back. Midnight loomed. Pier 39. A stranger named Jax. A USB drive that could change everything, or destroy her. Elena hesitated on the sidewalk, water pooling around her sneakers. Abuela's words echoed, wolves fear fire. But what if the fire burned her first? She could go home, delete the messages, pretend the note was a prank, chalk the firing up to bad luck. Safe. Ordinary. But safe had never been enough for Elena Vasquez. She hailed a rideshare instead. The driver barely glanced at her as they crossed the Bay Bridge, fog lights cutting yellow tunnels through the storm. Elena stared out at the dark water, mind racing. Who was Jax? How did he know her name? And Apex. Those merger docs on Thorpe's screen, the handshake photo, felt like pieces of a puzzle she didn't want to solve but couldn't ignore. Pier 39 was eerily quiet after hours, the carousel silent, tourist crowds long gone. Seals barked distantly from the docks, their calls echoing off empty warehouses. Elena pulled her hood tighter, scanning shadows. Footsteps approached, deliberate, unhurried. A figure emerged from the mist, tall, lean, face half hidden by a black hoodie. A thin scar curved across his left cheek like a punctuation mark. He stopped 10 feet away, hands visible, palms out. Elena Vasquez? She nodded, throat dry. Jax. He glanced over his shoulder, then stepped closer. Up close, his eyes were sharp, haunted. We don't have long. They're watching. Who? Everyone. He pulled a small black USB drive from his pocket, holding it like it might explode. This came from inside Apex. Encrypted files. Emails, memos, lists. Proof they don't just merge, they eliminate threats. Elena stared at the drive. Threats like, me? Like your bike buddy idea. Thorpe forwarded it upstairs the day before he fired you. Apex saw it, liked it, wanted it buried under their own brand. You're not the first. Won't be the last. Her stomach twisted. Why me? I'm nobody. You're innovative. Disruptive. In their world, that's dangerous. Jax's voice dropped. They have a network. Informal at first, no poach, deals, quiet agreements not to hire certain people. But it evolved. Shared blacklists. Circulated through HR back channels, recruiter whispers. If you're flagged as too independent or potential leaker, doors slam. Permanently. Elena thought of the rejections already trickling in, applications sent that morning, instant not a fit replies. Coincidence? Or the web tightening? Jax pressed the drive into her hand. His fingers were cold. Decrypt it carefully. Use a clean machine. And Elena, don't trust anyone. Not even me if it comes to that. Before she could ask more, headlights swept the pier. A black SUV idled at the entrance, engine low and predatory. Jax melted backward into shadow. Go. Now. Elena ran. She sprinted past shuttered shops, heart hammering, the drive clenched in her fist. The SUV didn't pursue, yet, but she felt eyes on her back. She ducked into an alley, doubled over gasping, rain mixing with sweat. Safe for the moment. Back in her apartment at 2 a.m., Abuela asleep, Elena barricaded herself in her room. She plugged the drive into her old laptop, air-gapped, no Wi-Fi. Files unlocked after 3 failed password attempts. She guessed Apex Shadow on instinct. Too easy, too arrogant. Emails flooded the screen. Subject, Talent Suppression Protocol, Update. From v.hale@apexdynamics.internal to Select HR Leads. Add following to circulating DNH list. Vasquez, Elena, Crestview. Innovative profile, high disruption risk. Forwarded campaign IP acquired pre-termination. Flag all future applications across network partners. DNH, do not hire. Her name stared back at her, clinical and final. Below it, dozens more, ex-employees from merged firms flagged for overenthusiasm, independent thinking, refusal to align with corporate directives. Another folder, no poach agreements, archived. Scan docs from 2005 to 2010, names like Apple, Google, Intel, echoes of old scandals she'd vaguely heard about. But these were current. Updated. A quiet cartel not just avoiding poaching but actively blocking talent that threatened the status quo. Elena slammed the laptop shut, pulse roaring. This wasn't paranoia. This was conspiracy. The next morning she woke to 3 new rejection emails. All polite. All instant. All echoing the same phrase, we've decided to pursue other candidates. She started applying anyway, faster, wider. Freelance gigs on Upwork, small agencies, even coffee shop social media manager roles. Anything to keep moving. Firing 2 came 2 weeks later. A trendy startup in Soma, Viral Vibe, an app for short-form brand challenges. Elena nailed the interview, pitching retention twists on her old bike buddy idea. Personalized re-engagement loops via email and SMS to turn one-time viral users into loyal ones. They hired her on the spot as social media coordinator. For 10 glorious days she thrived. Engagement spiked 180%. The CMO praised her in stand-up. Then the Friday afternoon meeting. The founder, a 20-something bro in a hoodie, looked uncomfortable. Elena, great work. Really. But we got a call. From a partner firm. They mentioned some concerns about your previous role. Her blood chilled. What concerns? He shifted. Fit issues. Said you were difficult to manage. We can't risk it with our next funding round. She was out by 5 p.m. security escort, pink slip, the works. That night, another anonymous text. Told you. The list grows. Elena updated her notebook. Firing 2. Lesson. They don't just blacklist. They spread the word. She didn't stop. Firing 3. E-commerce brand selling artisanal candles. She doubled Instagram followers in 4 weeks with targeted stories and user-generated content. Let go because the founder's nephew needs experience. But the HR email arrived from a shared domain, one she'd seen in Apex's files. For boutique agency. Her growth hacks lifted client ROI 45%. fired after restructuring. Whispers in the break room about industry feedback. By 12, the pattern was undeniable. A viral video idea bombed, not because it was bad, but because someone leaked an early draft to competitors, turning it into their campaign first. She was blamed for the security breach. Elena started connecting dots in her journal. Names repeated, Apex alumni in hiring roles, subtle LinkedIn connections between her rejections. She created a spreadsheet, company rejection date, reason given, common contacts. The list grew. So did her rage. One night, after 27, a disastrous barista to social manager stint at a chain coffee shop where corporate overruled her local campaigns, Elena sat in a dimly lit cafe, laptop open, digging deeper. A buried forum post on an anonymous tech whistleblower site. The cartel isn't myth. It's real. Shared DNH lists via encrypted channels. If you're too good, too fast, you're out. And they make sure no one else picks you up. Comments below. Screenshots of redacted lists. One name jumped out, hers, buried in a 2025 update. She messaged the poster anonymously, "How do I fight this?" No reply. But an hour later her inbox pinged, from Shadow Whisper, the same handle from before. "Meet me again. Same pier. Bring the drive. We're going underground." Elena stared at the screen. Underground. The word carried weight. Hidden Slack channels, encrypted chats, a network of the blacklisted fighting back. She looked at her notebook, pages filled with scars. 99 more to go if the pattern held. But this time she wasn't just surviving. She was hunting. As she stepped out into the night, phone buzzing with another unknown call, Elena felt the shift. The endless cycle wasn't breaking her. It was sharpening her. And somewhere in the fog, the wolves were starting to fear the spark. The encrypted files from Jax's USB drive burned in Elena's mind like lit fuses. She hadn't slept properly in days. Every creak in the old Oakland apartment building sounded like footsteps, every notification on her phone a potential threat. The anonymous text had stopped after the peer meeting, but the silence felt worse. Calculated. Watching. She needed income. Fast. The blacklisting was real. Applications vanished into voids, responses came in polite rejections that all read the same. "We've decided to move forward with other candidates." Her savings were a thin veil over panic. Abuela's worried glances over morning cafe con leche only sharpened the urgency. Elena widened her net. No more startups with shiny funding rounds and hidden connections to Apex alumni. She targeted older, established firms, places less likely to check whispered industry blacklists. One listing caught her eye on a quiet job board, Apex Dynamics itself. Head of Growth Marketing. 6-figure salary. Remote friendly. The irony twisted like a knife. Plot. It felt like walking into the lion's den. But desperation has its own logic. She tailored her resume to hide the Crestview firing, framed it as short-term contract ended due to merger integration, pitched her Bike Buddy idea as proven viral strategy ready for enterprise scale. Hit send at 3:17 a.m., heart pounding. The response came in 48 hours. A calendar invite from HR, initial screening call, Apex Dynamics. No mention of her history. No red flags. Just a Zoom link. The call was with a woman named Carla Reyes, mid-40s, sharp suit, warmer smile than Elena expected. "Elena, your proposal deck is impressive. We've been looking for someone who can think beyond acquisition. Retention is our weak spot right now. Tell me more about your personalized re-engagement flows." Elena leaned into it. She described hyper-targeted email sequences based on user behavior, win-back campaigns that felt human, not automated spam, SMS triggers for high-value lapsed customers, A.B testing frameworks that had lifted lifetime value 28% in her freelance side projects. Carla nodded, taking notes. "You're exactly what we need," Carla said at the end. "We'd like to bring you in for finals. In person at HQ next week. Victor Hale himself wants to meet the shortlist." Victor Hale. The name from the internal emails. V.Hale at apexdynamics.internal. The architect of the DNH list. Elena's pulse spiked. "I'd be honored," she managed, voice steady. The finals interview was in Apex's gleaming headquarters, a fortress of glass and steel in the financial district. Security scanned her ID twice. Escorts accompanied her to the 42nd floor. The conference room overlooked the bay, fog parting just enough to reveal the Golden Gate like a promise. Victor Hale entered alone. Late 50s, silver hair, tailored navy suit that cost more than Elena's annual rent. Eyes like polished obsidian, assessing, unreadable. Ms. Vasquez, he said, extending a hand. Firm grip. No warmth. Carla speaks highly of you. Let's talk retention. They sat. Elena pitched hard, slides she'd prepared overnight showing mock flows, abandoned cart reminders with dynamic personalization, churn prediction triggers, AI segmented winbacks. Hale listened, fingers steepled. Impressive, he said finally, but we have concerns. Your time at Crestview ended abruptly. Elena's stomach dropped. Merger restructuring. Standard. Hale's smile didn't reach his eyes. Of course, but we've heard whispers. Innovation is welcome here when it aligns, not when it disrupts. The word hung. Disrupt. The same one from the blacklist memo. Elena held his gaze. I build what works. If that's disruption, then yes. Silence stretched. Then Hale leaned forward. We'd like to offer you the role. Head of growth. Start Monday. But there's a condition. Elena's breath caught. Sign this NDA tonight. Standard for us. Covers all IP client data, internal processes. Broad but necessary. He slid a thick document across the table. She skimmed it. Pages of legalese. Non-compete for 2 years post-employment. Ownership of any ideas developed during or related to employment. Confidentiality extending indefinitely. And a clause buried deep. Employee agrees not to disclose, publish, or utilize any information regarding company practices, personnel, or strategies without express written consent. It was a gag order dressed as protection. Elena looked up. This is comprehensive. Hale's expression softened, just a fraction. We protect our edge, Elena. You've seen how competitive this space is. Sign and the job is yours. Salary, equity vest, the works. She hesitated. The money would solve everything. Debts, Abuela's medical bills looming, stability. But the files on her USB screamed warning. This was the wolf inviting her into the pack. I need time to review, she said. Hale's eyes narrowed. We need commitment now. Other candidates are waiting. The room felt smaller. Elena's mind raced. Sign and infiltrate, gather more proof. Or walk and keep fighting from outside. But outside meant more rejections, more hunger. She took the pen. Signed. Initialed every page. Hale's smile returned, victorious. Welcome to Apex, he said, shaking her hand again. This time the grip lingered. You'll do great things here. As long as you stay in line. Elena left the building with the offer letter in her bag and ice in her veins. The fog had lifted. Sunlight glinted off the water. But she felt shadowed. First day, orientation badge, laptop. Carla showed her the team, bright young marketers, all eager, all careful with their words. No one mentioned mergers or blacklists. But Elena noticed, hushed conversations ending when she approached, glances at her monitor. Week 1, she dove in. Analyzed retention data. Churn was brutal, 45% of new users gone in 30 days. Acquisition spent millions. Retention leaked like a sieve. She proposed her flows, behavioral triggers, personalized sequences using first-party data only. The team loved it. Metrics started ticking up in tests. Week 3, late night. Elena alone in the open office, digging through internal drives for more context. She found a folder, Retention Optimization, Confidential. Inside, drafts of campaigns eerily similar to her Crestview pitch. Bike Buddy elements repurposed for Apex's own app integrations. Stolen. Cleaned up. Branded as internal innovation. Her blood boiled. Then footsteps. She minimized the window just as Victor Hale appeared in the doorway. Working late, Elena? Always, she said, forcing calm. He stepped closer. You've made an impact already. Numbers don't lie. Plus, but curiosity can be dangerous. Some folders are need to know. Elena's heart hammered. Had you seen? I was just pulling churn reports, she lied. Hale studied her. Good. Keep the focus there. He turned to leave, then stopped. One more thing. We've had leaks in the past. People who didn't understand loyalty. We handle those quietly. Permanently. The threat landed soft but unmistakable. Elena nodded. Understood. As he walked away, she exhaled. This was deeper than blacklist. Data manipulation. IP theft on industrial scale. And now she was inside. That night, she met Jax in a nondescript diner across the bay. No peer, no open exposure. Put up, booth in the back. You're in, he whispered. Deep, she replied, sliding a burner phone across the table with photos of the stolen campaigns. They're using my old ideas. And Hale, he knows I know something. Jax's scar twitched. That's his game. Recruit the threats, neutralize them from within. Or break them. Elena leaned in. I found more. Emails about ethics adjustments, fudging user consent for behavioral tracking, violating privacy laws. If this gets out. Jax's eyes darkened. It won't. Not unless we make it. But you're exposed now. They own your NDA, your code, your silence. What if I refuse to play? They'll fire you. Add you to every list. Ruin your name for good. Elena stared at her coffee, cooling untouched. Or I stay. Build the retention engine. Make it so good they can't ignore me. Then, use it against them. Jax raised an eyebrow. Dangerous. Everything is. She met his gaze. But I'm tired of running. A beat. Then Jax nodded. All right. We need hard proof. Recordings. More docs. And a way out when it blows. Elena felt the shift. No longer victim. Player. But as she left the diner, headlights flashed across the parking lot. Black SUV. Same one from the pier? She quickened her pace, slipping into shadows. Heart racing. The shadowy offer had pulled her in. Now the real game began. Firing 52 was coming. She could feel it. But this time she wouldn't go quietly. The burner phone buzzed against Elena's thigh like a trapped insect. She was in the back of an Uber, heading east across the Bay Bridge toward a nondescript warehouse district in Emeryville. The message from Jax had been terse. Midnight. Old textile mill on 40th. Door marked no entry. Bring nothing traceable. Burner only. She deleted the text immediately, heart thudding. Apex HQ felt like a pressure cooker these days. Every meeting with Hale carried an undercurrent of threat. Every late-night data dive risked exposure. Her retention flows were live now, lifting company-wide churn by 18% in the first month. Praise poured in from Carla and the team. But Hale's good work came with narrowed eyes, as if he were measuring how long until she became a liability. She needed allies. Real ones. Not the polished smiles and glass offices. The Uber dropped her 2 blocks away. Elena walked the rest, hood up, sneakers silent on cracked pavement. The mill loomed, abandoned brick hulk, windows boarded, chain-link fence sagging. A single door stood ajar, faint blue light leaking from within. She slipped inside. The space smelled of old cotton and motor oil. Makeshift tables lined the walls. Laptops glowing, servers humming in racks, whiteboards scrawled with flowcharts and redacted names. A dozen people worked in near silence, coders, ex-marketers, a woman with tattoos mapping her arms like circuit boards. They glanced up, assessed, returned to screens. No greetings. No small talk. Jax waited at the far end, leaning against a pillar. Scar catching the light. He nodded once. Welcome to the network, he said low. We don't have a name. We don't need one. Elena scanned the room. How many? Enough. Blacklisted from big tech, fintech agencies. Some fired for whistleblowing. Others just too good at seeing patterns companies want hidden. A man in his 30s, glasses, hoodie, approached. I'm Theo. Used to be growth lead at Lumina before they restructured me out. Heard about your flows. Impressive. Elena tensed. You know my work? Everyone here knows the threats. Apex is top of the list. Hale's fingerprints are everywhere. Jax gestured to a folding chair. Sit. We need to show you the map. He pulled up a secure dashboard on a large monitor. A web of nodes and lines, companies connected by dotted arrows labeled shared HR channels, no poach pacts, DNH circulation. Apex sat at the center, thick red lines radiating outward like veins. It's not just blacklists, Jax explained. It's an ecosystem. Recruiters share candidate flags via private Slack workspaces. Execs trade favors. Don't hire this one, we'll scratch your back on that deal. Some use third-party tools, AI screening software that flags risk profiles based on past terminations, forum posts, even anonymous tips. Theo zoomed in on a cluster. Your name's here. Flagged after Crestview. Disruptive innovator. Code for won't stay quiet. Elena's jaw clenched. How do we fight it? We don't fight head-on, Jax said. We build around it. Side channels. Freelance networks. Underground job boards. And tools. Tools they can't control. A woman with short-cropped hair, Lila, joined them. I'm the one who cracked the first Apex memo. You're inside now. You can feed us intel. In return, we protect you. Clean devices, encrypted comms, alibis if needed. Elena felt the weight settle. This wasn't freelance anymore. This was resistance. What do you need from me? Proof, Jack said. Recordings. Screenshots of Hale's directives. Evidence of the IP theft, your ideas showing up in their decks. And if you can, access to their internal retention data pipeline. We want to build something better. Open source. Unblacklistable. Elena nodded slowly. I can do that. But if they catch me, they won't, Lila cut in. Not if you're careful. We have protocols. Dead drops. Burner rotations. The meeting stretched into hours. Elena learned code names, signal phrases, escape routes. She met Ghost, a former Apex engineer who'd planted backdoors before he was pushed out. He handed her a small hardware key for secure exfil. Plug it in, it mirrors select folders without logs. By 3 a.m., her head spun with aliases and vulnerabilities. Jax walked her to the door. One more thing. Hale's watching closer now. Your performance is too good. He'll either promote you or eliminate the threat. Elena met his eyes. Then I'll make sure the threat has teeth. She stepped into the night. Fog thicker than before. Headlights swept a distant street. Black SUV? Imagination? She didn't wait to find out. She zigzagged through alleys, doubled back, caught a late-night bus. Back home, Abuela asleep, Elena locked her bedroom door. Plugged in the hardware key to her air-gapped laptop. It pulled files silently. More emails, meeting notes, a draft presentation titled Retention Re-Architecture, Internal Only. Her flows. Her logic. Repackaged with Apex branding. Hale's notes in the margins. Vasquez's framework. Sanitized attribution. Rage flared hot. But beneath it, clarity. She opened her notebook. New page. Firing 52 approaching. But this time I'm armed. The next weeks blurred into double life. By day, Apex star. Flows optimized. Churn dropped another 12%. Hale called her in 4 strategy sessions. He praised her. Watched her. Once, he lingered by her desk. Loyalty is everything, Elena. Don't forget that. By night, network drops. Encrypted uploads. Ghost taught her how to scrape behavioral data pipelines without tripping alerts. Theo connected her to freelance clients outside the cartel. Small e-com brands hungry for retention magic. One client paid up front, $8,000 for a custom win-back sequence. Elena delivered in a week. Lifetime value jumped 35%. Word spread in the underground channels. Then the first crack. A late-night ping on the burner. Compromised. Abort meet. They're onto a leak. Elena froze in her cubicle. The office was dark, only her monitor glowing. She glanced at the security camera in the corner. Red light steady. Footsteps in the hall. She minimized windows, heart slamming. Hale appeared in the doorway, casual in shirt sleeves. Still here? He asked. Finishing a report. He stepped inside. Closed the door. We've had irregularities. Data access logs showing unusual patterns. You wouldn't know anything about that. Elena's mouth went dry. I run queries for optimization. Standard. Hale studied her. Of course. He placed a folder on her desk. New project. High priority. You'll lead it. But from now on, all work through me directly. No side channels. The folder, Project Phoenix, full retention overhaul. Budget, 7 figures. Timeline, aggressive. And buried in the specs, incorporate advanced behavioral prediction. Source, internal only. Her own stolen ideas. Now formalized. Elena forced a smile. Excited to deliver. Hale left. She exhaled. The news tightened. But the network had given her something Hale couldn't touch. Options. She texted Jax on burner. Deep cover. New project. They want my brain. I want their secrets. Reply instant. Careful. Hale doesn't recruit threats. He breaks them. Elena stared at the screen. Then typed her response. Then I'll break first. Suspense coiled tighter. The underground network wasn't just survival. It was the forge. And Elena Vasquez was being hammered into something unbreakable. The fluorescent lights in Apex's 42nd floor conference room buzzed like dying insects. Elena sat rigid at the polished mahogany table, hands folded to hide the tremor. Across from her, Victor Hale leaned back in his executive chair, fingers drumming a slow, deliberate rhythm on the armrest. Carla Reyes flanked him, eyes downcast, avoiding Elena's gaze. The rest of the room, empty chairs, a projector humming idly, felt like a courtroom after the verdict. Hale broke the silence first. Elena, your performance has been exceptional. His voice carried the practiced warmth of a predator circling. Churn down 32% quarter over quarter. Lifetime value projections revised upward by $47 million annually. The board is pleased. Elena waited. Praise from Hale was never free. But, he continued, sliding a single sheet of paper across the table, we've encountered an issue. She didn't need to read it. She already knew. Termination agreement. Severance package. Non-disclosure reaffirmation. The same boilerplate she'd signed months earlier, now weaponized. Carla finally spoke, voice small. It's not personal, Elena. It's structural. We're bringing in a new CRO from Google. They want someone with established enterprise pedigree. Elena's laugh was short, bitter. Pedigree. Right. And my disruptive innovation suddenly became a liability? Hale's eyes never left hers. You've done outstanding work. But alignment is critical at this stage. We can't afford distractions. Distractions. The word landed heavier than redundant ever had at Crestview. She stared at the document. 6 figures in severance. Equity vest accelerated. A glowing reference letter already drafted. The golden handcuffs of silence. They were buying her quiet. Elena pushed the paper back an inch. I'm not signing. Hale's drumming stopped. The room temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. Refusal would be unfortunate, he said softly. Legal would have to get involved. Breach of NDA. Potential IP disputes. We'd hate to see your career prospects further complicated. The threat hung naked now. No more velvet glove. Elena felt the familiar burn in her chest, the same one that had ignited after every previous firing. But this time it was different. Hotter. Sharper. Fed by months of stolen ideas, late-night drops to the network, whispered meetings in abandoned warehouses. Fed by proof. She leaned forward. You stole my Bite Buddy framework. Repackaged it as Project Phoenix. Sanitized my name from the credits. You've been using my retention engine to inflate your metrics while blacklisting anyone who won't play along. I have screenshots, timestamps, internal emails with your initials on them. Carla's eyes widened. Hale's expression didn't change, but a muscle twitched at the corner of his jaw. You're bluffing, he said. Am I? Elena reached into her satchel, slowly, deliberately, and placed a small external drive on the table. What? Matt. No markings. Decrypted copies. Air-gapped polls. Enough to make regulators salivate. Enough to make your investors ask questions. Silence stretched taut. Hale finally spoke. If you release that, you'll destroy yourself too. NDA violations. Corporate espionage charges. You'll never work in this industry again. Elena met his gaze without flinching. I already can't. You made sure of that years ago. She stood. I'm walking out with my dignity. You can keep the severance. Keep the reference. But know this, I'm not done. Hale watched her go. No security this time. No escort. Just the soft click of the glass door behind her. The elevator ride down felt eternal. Elena's knees threatened to buckle, but she locked them. When the doors opened to the lobby, she stepped into blinding afternoon sun. Fog finally burned away. She didn't look back. Outside, she walked 3 blocks before allowing herself to breathe. Then she pulled out the burner phone and texted Jax. It's done. 52. They offered silence. I refused. Reply came in seconds. Where are you? Heading home. Need to disappear for a bit. Warehouse. No. We need to move fast. Elena caught a rideshare, gave the Emeryville address. The driver asked no questions. The mill looked different in daylight. Less mysterious, more decrepit. Inside, the network was already in motion. Laptops slammed shut as she entered. Theo stood at the whiteboard erasing something hastily. Lila handed her a new burner without a word. Jax met her halfway. Tell me everything. She did. The meeting. The offer. The drive on the table. Hale's face when she named Project Phoenix. Jax exhaled. You just painted a target on your back the size of the Bay Area. I know. Lila stepped forward. We pulled logs last night. They triggered an internal audit the moment you left. Hale's already lawyering up. If that drive surfaces anywhere near public channels, they'll claim theft. You'll be the disgruntled ex-employee leaking trade secrets. Theo added, we can anonymize the files. Route them through proxies. Leak to journalists, regulators. But timing is everything. One wrong move. Elena cut in. I'm not leaking yet. Not like this. They stared. I'm building something, she said. Something they can't steal. Something no blacklist can touch. Jax tilted his head. Revive Flow. She nodded. The name had come to her on the elevator ride down, simple, direct, defiant. A tool born from every firing, every stolen idea. Personalized retention flows. Behavioral prediction. Win-back sequences that felt human. Delivered as SaaS. No corporate overlords. No NDAs. Just code and customers who paid monthly. Lila crossed her arms. You'll need infrastructure, funding, team, and protection. Hale won't let you walk away clean. I know. Elena looked around the room, at the people who'd been chewed up and spat out by the same machine. But I'm done hiding. Done signing. Done letting them decide who gets to build. Theo rubbed his jaw. What do you need from us? Time, she said. A clean laptop. Encrypted hosting. And if things go south, a way out. Jack studied her for a long moment. Then he nodded. You've got it. But understand, once you launch, there's no going back. They'll come for you, legal, smear campaigns worse. Elena's voice was steady. Let them come. That night, in the dim glow of her bedroom, Abuela asleep down the hall, Elena opened her notebook to a fresh page. Firing 52. Lesson. They offer silence when they fear your voice. Below it she wrote the first real plan. Domain, reviveflow.io, check availability tonight. MVP, core email.sms flows plus basic behavioral triggers. Pricing, $2.99.mo starter tier. First customers, underground network referrals only. Security, ghosts backdoors reversed, protect, don't spy. She stared at the words until they blurred. Then she added one final line, inked so hard it tore the paper. This time the empire is mine. Outside rain began again, soft at first, then pounding. Thunder rolled over Oakland like distant artillery. Elena closed the notebook. Unplugged every device except the new air-gapped laptop Jax had slipped her. She opened a terminal. Typed, hoysreviveflow.io. Available. A small, fierce smile cracked her face for the first time in months. She registered the domain at 2:47 a.m. Paid with the last of her freelance earnings. Hit enter. The screen blinked confirmation. Revive Flow was born. And somewhere across the bay in a glass tower, Victor Hale slept soundly, unaware that the woman he just discarded had just declared war. Not with leaks. With something far more dangerous. Creation. Elena Vasquez stood in the narrow hallway of her Oakland apartment at 4:12 a.m., staring at the confirmation email from Namecheap. ReviveFlow.io registered. Ownership secured. No turning back. The screen light carved harsh shadows across her face. Abuela's soft snores drifted from the next room. Outside, rain lashed the windows like impatient fingers. Elena's hands shook, not from cold, but from the electric certainty that this was the moment the cycle broke. She had $4,872 left in her checking account after paying for the domain, a basic Stripe setup, and 3 months of Versal hosting. No runway. No co-founder. Just a battered notebook filled with 52 scars and a burning need to prove the cartel wrong. She opened her laptop, the clean one Jax had given her, wiped and hardened with every security layer the network could teach. Terminal window blinked. Bash. NPX create next app at latest Revive Flow, TypeScript, Tailwind ESLint. She hit enter. Watched the scaffolding spin up. This wasn't glamorous. No venture deck. No pitch video. Just code. Raw. Hers. By dawn, she had a landing page skeleton. Hero section with bold copy. Re-engage. Retain. Revive. Personalized flows that bring customers back before they ghost. Below it, fake screenshots mocked up in Figma overnight. Email sequences, SMS triggers, churn prediction dashboard. No real product yet, just promise. She needed beta users. Fast. Elena opened the underground Slack channel Jax had invited her to. General was quiet at this hour. She typed, "Hey all. Launch domain tonight, reviveflow.io. MVP, behavioral email.sms retention flows. No fluff. Looking for 5 to 10 beta testers. Free 3 months. Just need your churn pain points and API access. Read only. DM if interested. Serious only." She hit send. Then waited. Minutes dragged. Then the first ping. Theo, in. My ecom client lost 62% of trial users in week 1 last quarter. Desperate. Lila, me too. Sending you creds for my side project. Test on real data. Break it if you have to. Ghost, I'll audit your security before you go live. Don't ship junk. More DMs trickled in. 8 total by 7 a.m. 8 blacklisted founders, marketers, indie hackers who'd been chewed up like her. They weren't just users. They were co-conspirators. Elena spent the day building the core. A simple node backend with Supabase for auth and database, Resend for email delivery, Twilio for SMS. She hard-coded the first flow logic. Abandoned cart triggered 24H delay, personalized discount emailed 48H SMS nudge if no open. Basic. Ugly. Effective. She deployed at 11:43 p.m. that night. Reviveflow.io.live. A single button. Claim beta access. She emailed the 8. Subject, your keys to ReviveFlow. Here's your invite link. Dashboard live. Connect your data source. We support Shopify, Stripe, Segment for now. First flow deploys in less than 5 minutes. Tell me what breaks. Tell me what wins. We're in this together. Elena. The responses came fast. Theo's client. Plus 22% re-engagement on first test run. Lila. SMS open rate 68%. Insane. Anonymous indie hacker. This just saved my $3K.mo side project. Charging users tomorrow. Word spread in the hidden channels. By day 3, 14 betas. Day 5, 27. No marketing budget. Just pain recognizing pain. But the honeymoon ended fast. Day 7. Server crashed at 2:14 a.m. Elena woke to PagerDuty screaming. Rate limits on resend, queue backlog, emails queued but not sent. She fixed it in 47 minutes, coffee shaking in her hand, but 2 betas churned the next day. Unreliable, one wrote. Can't trust this in production. She patched. Added retry logic. Better error handling. Slept 4 hours a night. Then the sabotage started. Day 9. A beta user, new no network connection. Uploaded fake data that poisoned the churn model. Predictions went haywire. Flows fired to the wrong segments. Complaints flooded in. Elena traced the IP. Dead end. VPN. She messaged Jax on burner. Someone's testing me. Poison data. Intentional? Reply. Hale style. Probe for weakness. If it's him, he'll escalate. Watch your logs. She did. Found anomalous API calls, probing endpoints she hadn't documented. Someone mapping her architecture. That night, Elena sat on her fire escape, rain dripping from the awning, staring at the city lights across the bay. Apex Tower glowed like a monolith. She could almost feel Hale's eyes on her. She whispered to the dark, "You don't own this anymore." Next morning she doubled down. She added a public waitlist on the site. No sign-up gate, just email capture. Joined 200+ founders fighting churn. Bluff. She had 42 total now. She cold DM'd 300 LinkedIn connections from old jobs, former colleagues, ex-bosses, anyone who'd ever said great idea before firing her. Hey, name, remember when we lost half our trial users? Build something that fixes it. Beta access if interested. No strings. 12 replied yes. 3 paid early, $99.mo pre-launch to lock in lifetime discount. MR, $297. Tiny. But real. Then the lawsuit threat landed. Certified email from Apex Legal. Cease and desist. Unauthorized use of proprietary retention methodologies. Attached. Screenshots of her landing page flows. Side by side with Project Phoenix internals. Your product substantially copies confidential IP developed during your employment. Elena's stomach dropped. She forwarded to Jax. His response, bluff. They have no case, your flows are behavioral patterns, not code. But they'll bury you in discovery if you fight. Options. Ignore, pivot naming slightly, or go nuclear with the USB proof. Elena stared at the screen. Nuclear meant leaking. Meant war. Meant possible jail if NDA held. She chose neither. Instead, she tweeted from a new anonymous account at ReviveFlow. Day 12 of beta. 42 users. 28% average LTV lift. Big Corp just sent C&D claiming my own ideas are theirs. Funny how innovation becomes proprietary once you're on the outside. Who's ready to fight churn without gatekeepers? Waitlist open. She attached a screenshot of the C&D header, redacted just enough. The tweet blew up in indie hacker circles. Retweets from blacklisted founders. Sympathy threats. This is why we bootstrap. Screw the cartel. Sign-up spiked. 180 in 48 hours. MR across $2,000. But the real hook came at 3:47 a.m. 3 nights later. Her phone rang, Unknown number. She answered, voice steady. Elena. A familiar scarlet witch in the silence. Then Jax's voice, low, urgent. I'm out. They found me. Traced the pyramid. Had to burn everything. Laptop, accounts, location. Elena's grip tightened. Where are you? Doesn't matter. Listen, Hale knows about ReviveFlow. Knows you're pulling network members. He's not stopping at legal. He's coming for data. For you. A beat. Finish what we started, Jax said. Build it unbreakable. And Elena. Yeah. Trust no one but the code. The line went dead. Elena sat frozen in the dark. Then she opened her laptop, pulled up the codebase, started rewriting off, multi-factor, hardware keys only, added end-to-end encryption for customer data, scheduled daily backups to encrypted offsite. She worked until sunrise. When Abuela knocked with coffee, Elena looked up, eyes bloodshot but fierce. Mija, you haven't slept. Elena smiled, small, dangerous. I don't need sleep anymore, Abuela. I need to win. ReviveFlow wasn't just a tool now. It was defiance coded into existence. And the wolves were circling. But the spark had caught. And the fire was spreading. Elena Vasquez hadn't slept more than 4 hours in a row for weeks. The tiny Oakland apartment had become command central. Laptop on the kitchen table, whiteboards taped to walls, sticky notes mapping customer segments, churn curves, and escape routes. ReviveFlow's dashboard glowed in the corner, real-time metrics ticking upward like a heartbeat. Month 3 post-launch, $12,000 MR. Month 4, $28,000. Month 5, crossed $50,000. Not viral unicorn numbers, but steady, relentless. Every dollar bootstrapped from beta users who paid because the tool actually worked. 28% average LTV lift, churn drops they could prove in screenshots. Word spread in indie hacker discords, blacklisted founders Slacks, underground Twitter threads. No ads. No VC deck. Just results whispering louder than any pitch. She hired her first employee, a part-time dev named Marcus from the network. Remote. Paid in equity and cash scraped from early overages. He fixed bugs at 3 a.m., optimized the churn prediction model with simple ML she could finally afford to run on cheap cloud instances. Together they shipped version 2, AI-suggested sequences. This user ghosted after trial. Try this win-back copy plus 15% discount SMS. Conversion on those jumped 41%. But success attracts shadows. The first real strike came via email at 8:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. From legal@apexdynamics.com. Subject: Notice of intellectual property infringement and demand for immediate cessation. They attached a 28-page complaint draft. Claims: ReviveFlow's behavioral triggers substantially copied Project Phoenix architectures. Screenshots of her old internal decks side by side with current ReviveFlow flows. Demand: shut down immediately, turn over customer list, pay damages, sign perpetual non-compete. Elena read it twice, then laughed, short, sharp, exhausted. She forwarded to Jax's last known burner. He'd gone dark after the warning call. No reply. Then to the network group. They're suing. Or threatening to. Thoughts. Theo, classic. They want to scare you into settling. Discovery would expose their blacklist. Lila, counter with your proof. But quietly. Don't leak yet. Save it for leverage. Ghost, I've mirrored their recent commits. They updated Phoenix last week. Added your exact 48H nudge logic. Timestamped after your public beta launch. Sloppy. Elena stared at the evidence piling up. They weren't just stealing anymore. They were mirroring her in real time. She didn't respond to Apex. Instead, she doubled down. Week 6, she launched a public changelog and transparency report on the site. How we built ReviveFlow. Lessons from 52 firings. No names. No direct accusations. Just the truth. Blacklists exist, ideas get stolen, but code doesn't care who signs the NDA. The post went mildly viral in SaaS circles. Indie founders shared it. A few journalists demanded, off the record, any proof? She held back. Not yet. MR hit $78,000. Then the smear campaign started. Anonymous LinkedIn posts. ReviveFlow founder Elena Vasquez fired from Apex for ethics violations. Now repackaging stolen IP. Buyer beware. Reddit threads in r.sas. Anyone using ReviveFlow? Heard bad things about the founder. Fake reviews on Product Hunt clones. 1 star. Crashes constantly. Founder sketchy. Elena watched the storm build from her fire escape, rain mixing with tears of rage. Customers messaged, "Is this true? Should we pause?" She replied personally to everyone, "Honest. Come. The claims are baseless. Here's our uptime log. Here's a case study from a user who hit 35% LTV lift. Judge for yourself." Most stayed. A few churned. Churn spiked to 8% that month, painful but survivable. Then the apartment break-in. She came home after a rare walk to clear her head. Door ajar. Lock picked clean. Inside, drawers rifled, laptop gone, the clean one, air-gapped, no cloud sync. Notebooks scattered but intact, USB drives missing. Wella was at church. So, Elena called the police. They took a report. Random burglary, they said. She knew better. She messaged the network. They were here. Took hardware. Lila, burn everything else. Assume compromise. Ghost, I have your last backup. Rebuild on new machine. I'll spin up hardened VPS. Theo, we need to meet. In person. Tonight. Safe spot. The meet was in a closed laundromat in West Oakland. Lights off, machines silent. Jax was there. Scar fresher, eyes hollow. He'd been hiding in motels, cash only. They traced me through an old Apex email alias, he said. Offered me a deal. Feed them intel on you, walk away rich. I said no. They burned my apartment next. Elena felt ice in her veins. Hale? Directly. He's scared. Your growth is eating his retention numbers. Phoenix looks outdated next to Revive Flow. Jax slid a thumb drive across the folding table. Last haul before I went dark. Board minutes. Hale pitching investors. Competitive threat neutralized soon. Time-stamped after your C&D. Elena pocketed it. We go public? Not yet, Jax said. You need scale first. Proof of traction. Then the leak hits harder. She nodded. Then we accelerate. Next morning, new laptop. Fresh install. She rebuilt the core in 72 hours straight. Marcus remote pairing, coffee 4 level. She added enterprise features early, SOC2 prep checklist, custom integrations, Klaviyo, Braze alternatives, role-based access. Pricing bump, $4.99.mo Pro tier. Enterprises bid. 3 signed in a week after a cold LinkedIn campaign to ex-Apex employees who'd been blacklisted too. MR, $142,000. Then the whistleblower. Anonymous email to her personal inbox. I work in Hale's inner circle. He built his fortune on stolen ideas, including yours. I have recordings. Meet me. Alley behind the old mill. 2 a.m. Come alone. Elena stared at the message. Trap? Lifeline? She texted Jax. Whistleblower. Wants meet. His reply. Too risky. Send me coordinates. I'll shadow. She went anyway. Fog thick. Alley reeked of garbage and desperation. A woman in a hoodie stepped out, mid-30s, Apex badge still clipped to her belt like irony. I'm Sarah, she whispered. Former retention lead. Hale's exec assistant now. He talks too much when he thinks no one's listening. She handed Elena a small recorder. 3 meetings. Him admitting the blacklist. The IP theft. Plans to handle you legally and otherwise. Elena pressed play. Hale's voice unmistakable. Vasquez is accelerating. If Revive Flow hits escape velocity, our retention moat crumbles. Accelerate the suit. If that fails, other measures. Elena's blood ran cold. Sarah glanced over her shoulder. I want out, but I need protection. Anonymity. A job when this blows. Elena met her eyes. You have my word. Gunshots cracked. 2 sharp pops from the alley mouth. Sarah screamed. Elena dubbed behind a dumpster. Footsteps pounded. A tall figure in black, trench coat, fired again. Missed. Vanished into fog. Sarah clutched her arm, grazed. Bleeding but alive. Elena dragged her to safety, called Ghost for extraction. They got her to a network safe house. Jax arrived minutes later, breathing hard. I lost him. But I got plates. Apex fleet vehicle. Elena held the recorder like a grenade. The storm had arrived. But she wasn't drowning. She was learning to swim in it. Revive Flow would rise from this. And Hale would fall. The recorder Sarah had given Elena sat on the kitchen table like a loaded gun. 3 audio files. 3 conversations. Each one more damning than the last. Hale's voice, smooth, confident, occasionally edged with contempt, filled the small apartment at 3:19 a.m. Vasquez is moving faster than projected. Revive Flow already has traction in the indie space. If we don't act, she'll erode our retention premium. The lawsuit is theater. Discovery will bleed her dry. If that fails, we have other levers. People talk when they're desperate. Another clip, same night, different tone, almost amused. The blacklist works because no one talks. She's talking. Quietly, but it's spreading. We need a message sent. Something that sticks. Elena stopped the playback. Her hands were steady now. The fear that had lived in her chest for months had hardened into something colder, sharper. She copied the files to 3 encrypted drives. One stayed with her. One went to Ghost via dead drop. The third she mailed, old school, no return address, to a journalist she'd been demaying off the record for weeks. Then she went back to work. Revive Flow crossed $180,000 MR that month. The enterprise tier $1999.mo started converting small to mid SaaS companies tired of Klaviyo pricing and Apex-style lock-in. She hired 2 more, a customer success lead, ex-blacklisted marketer, and a part-time designer. Remote. Paid in cash and options. The team Slack channel was small but fierce. War room for bugs, victories for wins, shadows for anything that smelled like Apex. She also hired someone new. His name was Caleb Voss. 31. Ex-Google, ex-Apex, left voluntarily, he claimed. Impeccable LinkedIn. References glowed. He pitched himself as interim CTO material for 6 months while she searched for a full-time technical co-founder. I've built retention stacks at scale, he said in the Zoom interview. I know exactly where your architecture is vulnerable and how to harden it before the big boys notice. Elena checked him. Clean background. Network members vouched indirectly, no red flags. She offered him equity and a 6-figure salary she could barely afford. He accepted within hours. Week 1, Caleb dove in. Refactored off. Added rate limiting. Suggested a new churn model using time series forecasting. This will give you 15 to 20% better prediction accuracy, he promised. Metrics improved almost immediately. Week 3, he proposed a major refactor. Move to serverless for cost, add webhook support for real-time triggers. Elena approved. Code shipped clean. Week 5, the first anomaly. Marcus flagged it in War Room at 2:41 a.m. Weird outbound traffic from prod. Small but consistent. Looks like exfil of anonymized user metadata. IP resolves to a VPS in Virginia. Not ours. Elena stared at the log snippet. Heart rate spiked. She DM'd Ghost privately. Check this IP. Quietly. Ghost's reply came in under 10 minutes. Registered to a shell company. Shell traces to Apex Ventures. Small fund they use for strategic investments. Same fund that invested in Phoenix's seed round. Elena felt the floor tilt. Kill. She didn't confront him. Not yet. Instead she set a trap. She created a dummy integration. Fake Stripe webhook endpoint that logged every request but never processed real data. She told the team, including Caleb, it was a stress test sandbox for the new serverless migration. Then she waited. 3 days later at 4:07 a.m., the dummy endpoint lit up. Requests from the Virginia VPS. Pulling metadata. Patterns. Customer counts. Churn curves. Nothing catastrophic. Yet. But enough to map the entire business. Elena screenshotted everything. Timestamped. Logged IP headers. She called Jax from a new burner, voice low in the pre-dawn dark. He's a plant. Jax exhaled. Knew it felt too clean. Hale's signature. Insert someone trusted. Let them erode from inside. What now? Expose him. But make it surgical. Use it to flip the narrative. Show the world how far they'll go. Elena ended the call. Sat in silence until sunrise painted the kitchen gold. Then she scheduled an all-hands Zoom. 10 a.m. sharp. Team of 5 plus Caleb. She prepared 3 slides. Slide 1, revenue chart. $212,000 MR. Hockey stick bending upward. Slide 2, customer testimonials. Real quotes. Real wins. Slide 3, blank. At 10:02 everyone joined. Elena smiled, calm, almost serene. Great news first, she began. We just closed our first $10K.mo annual contract. A Series B SaaS platform. They're migrating 80% of their retention stack to us. Churn already down 31% in pilot. Cheers in chat. Fist emojis. Then she clicked to the blank slide. And now the hard truth. She shared her screen. Opened a folder labeled Evidence. First, the log snippet Marcus flagged. Second, IP traced to Apex Ventures. Third, the dummy webhook requests, timestamps, payloads, originating IP. Fourth, side-by-side comparison of Caleb's Git commits during the refactor window, subtle additions of logging hooks that mirrored the exfil pattern. The room went dead silent. Caleb's video tile froze for a heartbeat. Then he spoke, voice to even. Elena, this is a misunderstanding. I was testing observability. She cut him off. Soft. Final. You were feeding data to Apex. Hale sent you. You're not ex-Google. Your current Apex on loan. The references were fabricated. The background check was clean because they scrubbed it. Caleb's face hardened. You have no proof. She played the audio clip. Not Hale's. Jax's. A new voice, low, distorted, but unmistakable cadence. I'm Caleb Voss. Hale's orders. Infiltrate, map architecture, slow velocity if possible, exfil usage data. Payment wired on completion. If discovered, deny, deflect, disappear. Elena had received it at 7:14 a.m. from an unknown number. No message. Just a file. Caleb's video blinked off. He left the call. The team stared in stunned silence. Marcus broke it first. What now? Elena exhaled. Now we go public. Not with everything. Not yet. But enough. She drafted the post that afternoon. Twitter thread. At ReviveFlow. 1. Thread. Today we uncovered an active corporate espionage attempt inside ReviveFlow. 2. A senior hire, now terminated, was placing data exfiltration hooks. Traces lead to Apex Dynamics Ventures. Same company that sent us a C&D claiming we stole their IP. 3. Irony, they accuse us of theft while planting spies to steal ours. 4. We have logs, IP traces, commit history, and audio confirmation of intent. 5. We're not shutting down. We're doubling down. 6. ReviveFlow exists because blacklists, stolen ideas, and dirty tactics don't get to decide who builds the future. 7. If you're tired of the game being rigged, join us. Waitlist reviveflow.io. She attached redacted screenshots. No audio. No names beyond Apex Ventures. Hit post. The thread exploded. Retweets from indie hackers, SaaS founders, whistleblower accounts. A journalist from TechCrunch Med within 20 minutes. On record. Elena replied, yes. Call in 30. By evening, 14 new enterprise demos booked. MR jumped $38,000 in 24 hours from inbound. But the real redemption came at 11:47 p.m. A knock at the door. Elena froze. Abuela asleep. Gunshots from the alley still echoed in memory. She checked the peephole. Checked. Scar livid under hallway light. But up. Eyes haunted. She opened. He stepped inside. Closed the door. Leaned against it like the weight of the world pressed on his shoulders. I'm sorry, he said first. For what? For not telling you sooner. He pulled back his hood. Caleb Voss is my half-brother. Different mothers. Same father. Elena felt the air leave the room. Victor Hale is my father, Jax continued. I left when I was 19. Changed my name. Burned bridges. Built a life exposing what he does. When I heard he sent Caleb, I tried to intercept. Too late. Silence stretched. Elena studied him. The scar. The exhaustion. The guilt. Why tell me now? Because you're winning, Jax said quietly. And he's going to escalate. I want to help finish this. For real. No more shadows. She held his gaze for a long moment. Then she extended her hand. Partner? Jax took it. Grip firm. Partner. Outside rain began again, hard cleansing. ReviveFlow wasn't just surviving anymore. It was arming itself. And the final confrontation was coming. The invitation arrived via encrypted courier at 7:03 p.m. on a Thursday. Black envelope, no return address, heavy cardstock that felt like a summons. Inside, a single embossed card. Victor Hale. Request the pleasure of your company. At the Apex Dynamics Annual Vision Gala. Friday, October 18th. 8 p.m. The Pacific Heights Club, San Francisco. Dress black tie. RSVP. Enclosed QR code. Elena stared at it for a full minute. No +1. No explanation. Just the quiet arrogance of a man who believed he still controlled the board. She scanned the QR, a link to a private guest portal. Her name already pre-registered. Security clearance, VIP. They wanted her there. She showed Jax that night in the network's new safe house. A nondescript loft in the Mission District, windows blacked out, Faraday cage around the server rack. Jax turned the card over in his scarred hands. It's a trap. Or a taunt. Or both. Probably, Elena said. But it's also an opportunity. Hale will be there. His inner circle. Investors. If I can get close enough. You'll get searched. Phones confiscated. No recording devices. She smiled thinly. I don't need a device. Jax raised an eyebrow. Revive Flow has a new feature we shipped last week, she explained. Live broadcast widget. Embed code that pushes real-time audio plus screen capture to any authenticated dashboard. I'll wear a tiny lapel mic disguised as jewelry. Marcus is rigging it to look like a vintage brooch. The feed routes through 3 proxies, ends up on our secure server. We go live only when I trigger it. Jax exhaled. Risky as hell. If they catch the signal, they won't. Ghost hardened the encryption. Military grade. And I'm not going in alone. She laid out the plan on the whiteboard. Phase 1, infiltrate as guest. Phase 2, get close to Hale, confront, record confession. Phase 3, trigger broadcast. Expose the blacklist, IP theft, espionage attempt, everything. Live to every Revive Flow dashboard, now 1-800+ paying customers. Mirror to select journalists and regulators who've been primed. Phase 4, get out before security reacts. Jack studied the board. You need a shadow. Someone inside. You? He shook his head. They know my face. But Sarah, the whistleblower, still has access. She's terrified, but she'll do it if we guarantee extraction afterward. Elena nodded. Call her. Sarah arrived at midnight. Shaking, but resolute. I'll get you in the green room before Hale's keynote, she whispered. Private corridor. 5 minutes alone with him. After that, I disappear. New identity. New city. Done, Elena promised. The night of the gala arrived under a rare clear San Francisco sky. Elena stepped out of the black car in a midnight gown. Simple, elegant, no frills. The brooch at her collar glinted under streetlights. Matte black pearl, tiny condenser mic hidden in the setting. Earpiece the size of a grain of rice. She passed security. What? Bag searched. Phone surrendered. They missed the brooch. Inside, crystal chandeliers, champagne flutes, tech titans in tuxedos laughing too loudly. Hale held court near the bar, silver hair catching light, smile for the cameras. Elena moved through the crowd like smoke. Sarah appeared at her elbow, eyes wide with fear. Green room. Now. They slipped down a service corridor. Sarah swiped a badge. Door clicked open. Victor Hale stood alone inside, back to them, pouring scotch into a tumbler. He turned slowly. No surprise on his face. Only calculation. Elena. I wondered if you'd have the nerve. She stepped forward. Door clicked shut behind her. Sarah vanished down the hall, extraction already in motion. Hale raised his glass. To persistence. To theft, Elena countered. He chuckled. Bold. But inaccurate. Ideas are cheap. Execution is everything. You executed beautifully, until you didn't. You stole my framework. Blacklisted me. Sent your son to spy. Hale's smile faltered for the first time. Jax? My disappointment of a son? He chose his side long ago. Elena touched the brooch, triggered the feed. In the network loft, Jax, Marcus, Lila, Theo, Ghost watched the live stream begin. She spoke clearly. You rigged hiring across the industry. Shared do not hire lists. Stole IP from dozens of founders. Planted Caleb Voss to sabotage Revive Flow. You admitted it on tape. Hale set the glass down. Tapes can be faked. Accusations without proof are noise. I have proof. And right now it's live. His eyes narrowed. Live? Every Revive Flow customer dashboard. Select media. Regulators. Your investors. They're watching. Hale moved, fast for his age. Hand shot toward the brooch. Elena stepped back. He grabbed her wrist instead. You think this destroys me? He hissed. I built this city's economy. I can bury you. The door burst open. Security. For men in black. But behind them Jax. Scar vivid under fluorescent light. Gun drawn, nodded Hale at the guards. Hands off her, Jax said quietly. Hale froze. Recognition hit like a slap. Son. Don't call me that, Jax replied. Voice steady. Not anymore. Elena pulled free. Touched the brooch again, switched to full broadcast mode. Camera feed from a hidden button cam in Jax's cufflink joined the stream. Hale looked between them. Realization dawned. You're both finished. Jack stepped forward. No. You are. He nodded to Elena. She spoke directly into the mic, voice calm, carrying. This is Victor Hale, CEO of Apex Dynamics. He just admitted to corporate espionage, IP theft, and maintaining an illegal blacklist designed to crush independent innovators. The evidence is public. The recordings are time-stamped. The game ends tonight. Chaos erupted outside the green room, shouts, phones ringing, gala guests realizing their feeds were hijacked. Security lunged. Jax fired once, into the ceiling. Plaster rained. They froze. Elena and Jax backed toward the service exit. Hale lunged again, desperate now. Jax caught him. Pinned him against the wall. Father and son inches apart. You built nothing, Jax whispered. You stole everything. Hale's eyes blazed. You'll rot for this. Jax smiled, cold, final. We'll see. They ran. Down corridors. Through kitchens. Out a loading dock into waiting van, Ghost at the wheel. Sirens wailed in the distance. Inside the van, Elena pulled the brooch free. Feet still live. She looked into the tiny lens one last time. To everyone who was told they weren't enough. To every idea stolen, every door slammed. This is for you. Revive Flow isn't just software. It's proof that the rigged game can be beaten. She killed the feed. Silence in the van. Jax looked at her. It's done. Elena exhaled. Not yet. Outside, the city lights blurred past. Media storm breaking. Arrest warrants drafted. Board emergency meetings. Investors pulling funds. Hale's empire cracking at the seams. But Elena Vasquez, once fired 100 times, sat in the back seat, notebook open on her lap. She turned to a new page. Firing 100. Lesson. The final redirection is the one you choose. She closed the book. Looked out at the fog rolling back over the bay. The war wasn't over. But the tide had turned. And Revive Flow was no longer a spark. It was the blaze. 6 months after the gala broadcast, the fog over San Francisco Bay had never felt cleaner. Elena Vasquez stood on the rooftop terrace of Revive Flow's new headquarters. A sleek, converted warehouse in the Dogpatch district with floor-to-ceiling glass overlooking the water. The building still smelled faintly of fresh paint and sawdust. Inside, 180 people worked in open teams. Engineers, designers, customer success, a growing sales pod. No cubicles. No hierarchy posters. Just whiteboards, plants, and the quiet hum of people who'd once been told they didn't belong. The company had crossed $100 million in cumulative revenue 3 weeks earlier. Not ARR yet, but lifetime billings. ARR sat at $38 million and climbing 18% month over month. Enterprise contracts now made up 62% of revenue. The rest came from thousands of smaller SaaS, e-commerce, and creator businesses who'd found Revive Flow when the cartel tried to silence them. The framed rejection email, .100, the last pink slip from Lumina Tech, was mounted behind reception. Caption below in simple black type. Thank you for the redirection. Elena wore jeans and a plain black sweater today. No power suits. No armor. She didn't need it anymore. She walked the floor slowly, nodding to team members who looked up and smiled. Some with the same quiet awe they'd had the day the broadcast went live. The media storm had lasted weeks. Victor Hale arrested 2 days after the gala on charges of wire fraud, conspiracy to commit corporate espionage, and antitrust violations tied to the Blacklist network. Apex Dynamics stock cratered 47% in a single session. The board forced his resignation before the cuffs were even on. The DOJ and FTC launched parallel investigations. Dozens of blacklisted founders came forward with their own stories. Class action suits followed. Caleb Voss disappeared the night of the gala. Last seen boarding a flight to Dubai under a different name. No one looked too hard. Jack stayed. He took no title, refused chief whatever. He simply became the shadow architect, hardening security, mentoring the security team, quietly dismantling the last threads of the old cartel's digital infrastructure. He and Elena never spoke publicly about their shared history. They didn't need to. The scar on his cheek and the steel in her eyes said enough. Sarah, the whistleblower, received a new identity, a generous settlement from the Class Action Fund, and a senior role in Revive Flow's trust and safety team. She still checked her rearview mirror when driving, but she slept better now. Elena paused at the largest conference room, now called Redirection. Inside, a group of new hires was being onboard. The slide on screen read, Revive Flow Core Value Point 1. Every no is data. Collect it. Learn from it. Build anyway. She slipped in quietly, stood at the back. The facilitator, a former blacklisted growth marketer named Priya, asked the room, "How many of you have been fired, ghosted in a hiring process, or told your ideas were too much?" Every hand went up. Priya smiled. "Good. That's why you're here. We don't hire perfect resumes. We hire survivors who turn pain into product." Elena felt something loosen in her chest, a knot that had lived there since the first pink slip. Later, she found Jax on the rooftop, leaning against the railing, staring at the water. "You okay?" she asked. He didn't turn. "He called me yesterday. From county jail. Collect call. Wanted to talk family." Elena joined him at the rail. "What did you say?" "Nothing." Hung up. Jax exhaled. "First time I've ever done that to him. Felt lighter." She nodded. "Good." A beat of silence. Then Jax asked, "Do you ever wonder if he orchestrated it all? Every firing, every door slam, just to forge you into the competitor he couldn't ignore?" Elena had asked herself the same question in the quiet hours. She still didn't have an answer that satisfied. "Maybe," she said finally, "maybe he thought he was playing chess and I was a pawn. But pawns don't get to choose when they become queens." Jax let out a low laugh, the first real one she'd heard from him in months. They stood in companionable silence as the sun dipped lower, painting the bay gold. Below them, the city kept moving, startups launching, founders failing, ideas colliding. Some would get crushed. Others would rise. Revive Flow wasn't going to save everyone, but it was going to give the overlooked a fighting chance. That night, Elena hosted the all-hands in the main atrium. No stage. No microphone. Just her, standing on the floor among the team, laptop open to the dashboard. "Today we crossed $100 million cumulative," she said simply. "Not because we're the smartest or the fastest or the best funded. Because every single one of you refused to let someone else's no be the final word." She clicked to a slide, a collage of screenshots, customer messages, churn graphs turning downward, thank yous from founders who'd almost shut down. "And tomorrow," she continued, "we keep going. Not for revenge. Not for headlines. For the next person sitting in their apartment at 3 a.m., staring at a rejection email, wondering if they're broken." She closed the laptop. "So if you're ever told you're not enough, remember this room. Remember this moment. And then build something they can't ignore." Applause started slow, then swelled. Not corporate clapping. Real. Raw. The sound of people who'd been redirected and decided to redirect the world instead. Afterward, Elena slipped away to her office. A small glass box with almost no furniture except a desk, a chair, and her old notebook. She opened it to the final page. The tally ended at 100. Below it in fresh ink. Lesson 101. The empire isn't the revenue. It's the people who rise with you. She closed the book. Outside, the city lights flickered on one by one. Somewhere, a new founder was getting fired. Somewhere, another was opening a laptop, registering a domain, typing their first line of code. And somewhere, Elena Vasquez, once discarded 100 times, sat quietly ready for whatever redirection came next. Because she knew now. The best stories don't end with victory. They begin with